And this is a video on the two types of sex according to astrology: silly sex and dark sex. Now, silly sex is ruled by the sun, and it takes place in the 5th house, the house of fun. You know you're dealing with silly sex if people say things like, let's have sex because it feels good, it's fun, it's natural, healthy, pleasurable. And also people can have silly sex because they're in love. But 5th house love is really defined by the way it makes you feel. It's defined by, I'm in love because I feel good. I'm in love because I feel happy. I'm in love because I'm getting a self-esteem boost. So ultimately, love in this house is about pleasure and the self. Hence, it's short-lived because it's a fire, and once it extinguishes its fuel, the fire's over, right? And people will sometimes try to bring the fire back, by like whatever, dressing up in costumes or something. But I mean, I don't know if that can be done or not. So the good thing about silly sex is it makes you feel good. The bad thing about it is it in and of itself can't really last. But what it can do is produce children, because silly sex is where kids come from, which is why silly sex in the 5th house lead to the 6th house of thankless labor. And really, I think with any 5th house type of dynamic where it's like a romance, there tends to be some kind of, even if you don't have kids, you end up in the house of thankless labor, basically, because there tends to be some kind of burnout, some kind of, at the end, you're left with some kind of fallout, basically, from losing your source of fun and happiness and self-esteem. So that's kind of the trick, is if you can use this type of love to relight your passion for life without attaching it to the other person so much that you feel diminished once the relationship fire burns out. So that is silly sex. Now, dark sex takes place in the 8th house. That's the house of sex, death, and other people's resources, and it's ruled by the gods of the underworld, Pluto and Scorpio. And 8th house sex is really about, in astrology, every person is like connects into other worlds, basically. They connect into magical forces that are unique to them. So by having sex with them, you are tapping into new magical powers, basically, that can then enter your life and bring in totally new things. Because sometimes we get stuck, right? Like, we only know what we know. We only know how to run our own patterns, and eventually those patterns can become a dead end, and we really need something else to come in to give us new options. And so that's where the 8th house comes in. It brings in, by having sex with someone who's totally different from us, we like combine ourselves in a really powerful way with forces, perspectives, spirits, resources, everything that's outside of our current experience, which allows us to really like transform and change who we are and change our life at a deep level, which is why the 8th house leads to dark sex, leads to the 9th house of travel, adventure, and expanded horizons. So if everything goes according to plan, through having dark sex, you're able to bring in new stuff to where you can truly then live a life with new and expanded horizons. But it is, this process is a little bit dangerous because dark sex is defined by the taboo, basically. You're dealing with dark sex if there's money being exchanged, like prostitution, if it's kinky, if it's secretive. There's something so wrong, so right about it, right? Like there's something wrong about it because it's the taboo. Because what is the taboo? The taboo is kind of everything that's been kept outside of your current experience because it's somehow bad. It's not part of how you're defining yourself. It's not part of the rules that you're playing by. So dark sex involves kind of tapping into that unused energies, so that through getting those new energies, you can then get something new. But it can be problematic. It's frequently accompanied by things like danger, violence, STDs, obsession, jealousy, addiction. It can have those sorts of vibes come in with it. So you do have to be careful. And I mean, I think this shows like what the problems can be with marriage, because let's say you're married, but between the two of you, neither of you tap into like the magical forces, the properties, the qualities, the perspectives, whatever that you're truly needing, right? So you're kind of stuck as a couple. So what do? Do you have to like start cheating on your spouse? Well, luckily there is an alternative, an eighth house alternative to dark sex, which is giving. And in this case, you basically change your fate by giving to someone. And this does not need to be someone you want to have sex with at all. There's a whole art in astrology of giving different things to different people to get different impacts, right? But the key really to giving is that you have to make sure you give enough, because the eighth house is about fortune favoring the bold. It's all about you. There's no free lunch. You get what you give, right? So you have to really give until it hurts just a little bit. You can't just like give someone $1 or your leftover sandwich. It's about really stepping outside of your bubble to impact someone else's life in a significant way. And then through that, you gain those new forces that you need to renew yourself. So that's a great alternative to dark sex, is serious giving. Yeah, let me see. And if you're wanting to do giving in lieu of dark sex, here's what I would recommend. Do not give to somebody because you want to have sex with them. Find someone who's truly kind of like fallen through the cracks of society, someone who's truly somehow an outsider and really needs help, right? Like someone who, like doesn't have a head, or like there's something about them, you're like, holy shit, this person is a little bit almost intimidating. They've really fallen through the cracks. They really need help. You know what I mean? That kind of like desperate situation. That's like, I think the best place to give if you want to use that instead of dark sex. Like maybe someone, they like smell so bad it's hard to get close to them, have like diseases, that sort of thing is really good. So yeah, that's dark sex versus silly sex. And I'm Jillian Eckley. I thank you.